Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Chanel's Reality. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. So I've been on this internet today, what they call Beyonce's good internet. Child, poor Beyonce. I'm not even, listen, this ain't even about her, but like, she catching so many strays. I'm like, sis. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about Sean Diddy Combs, and his body count. It seems as though it's rather lengthy. If you look at my thumbnail, basically the only two people still alive in that photo of him and the rest of those people at Uptown Records is Sean P. Diddy Puffy Combs, Shitty Diddy Combs, and Albie Shore, who almost died earlier. I believe last year. He was in a coma for like a month or two or something like that from taking what he thought, I think, was like some regular medication, like aspirin or ibuprofen, something like that. And he ended up in a coma. So we're gonna just go down a little list here of alleged people who have been in Diddy's. I would just say he's like 1 degree of separation from these people, and they all seem to be, mysteriously no longer here from things that they lots of people have said these people shouldn't be, no longer here for, especially because of their age, especially because of the fact that we live in a country with Western medicine and they shouldn't be dead as, you know, from these types of things. But I'm just going to play a few little clips from some other people's body counts, and we'll just see what comes of it. Where is this? Let's listen to her. 1 sec.
Was actually writing a tell-all that could take him down or at the very least ruin his reputation. Would Diddy truly do anything to keep her quiet? Well, according to Blind Items and Jaguar, Diddy allegedly bought Kim a customized casket 3 weeks before she died.
He had her casket ready 3 weeks before she died. Custom.
And then there's Andre himself, Diddy's first mentor, the person who held the alleged secrets that Kim was supposedly trying to get on the record. He died in 2020 of heart failure, and that's after another original member of Uptown Records also died before reaching old age. Heavy D, the person who actually introduced Diddy to Andre all those years ago. Heavy D collapsed in front of his hotel at only 44 from a pulmonary embolism, which can also be caused by poisons like cyanide, thallium, oleander, and more that can also show up as heart failure or flu or pneumonia-like symptoms. And if you're not given enough of it, they could even cause a coma. And so, of these original founding members of Uptown, the few people on this planet who may have potentially witnessed the true nature of the relationship between Diddy and Andre, the only one that is still alive, besides Diddy himself, is Albie Shore. But not without coming close to death himself. In 2022, Al fell into a mysterious coma for months, which can be another side effect of the poisons I mentioned if you're not given a high enough dose to kill you. And though we were given no explanation for Al's coma, it sounds like we're about to get one, considering that Al just announced he's going to be revealing everything about his life and the truth about his coma in his new documentary.
You really understand how I ended up in a coma.
And he even included a direct reference to Diddy saying,
"You're really going to need to call Homeland Security."
The same bureau that raided Diddy's house. And now, as a reminder as to what possible motive Diddy would have for these alleged murders, well,
they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book. Kim Porter was working on a book. And Albie Shore was working on the documentary of his life.
Basically, anytime someone starts to speak up about Diddy, they're magically silenced. Even Terrence Dean, remember? The guy who wrote multiple books and was trying to make a movie off the one everyone associated with Diddy and Andre before he up and died after a mysterious illness at the age of 53? And if Keefe D is to be believed and Diddy wasn't opposed to hiring a hitman in the 90s, maybe he learned from Biggie and Tupac's deaths. After all, guns are messy and draw a lot of attention. More professional hits outside of the world of gangs, where someone simply falls ill and dies, that raises way less flags. So how many people is that have died in proximity to Diddy? We've got Big Jake, Tupac, Biggie, Kim, Andre, Heavy D, and Terrence Dean with alleged attempts to varying degrees on Suge, Kid Cudi, G, and I'll Be Sure. That's 11 possible instances where Diddy could have ordered hits. And if even just one of these is true, who knows how many others there could be that no one even knows about? So now that almost all of the original Uptown crew is dead, are the suspicious deaths going to stop? The problem is, as the walls start closing in around Diddy with the raids and the lawsuits and the new investigations, he's going to have to start shifting into survival mode again. It's not his sexuality or his self-perceived reputation that's on the line anymore, though. It's his freedom and his life.
So obviously this is a little bit old. This is a few months old, but she's right. I mean, he has a lot of, these are just some of the people she put that he has, like I said, I feel like 1 degree of separation. It's just odd that all of these people, like, okay, so you think about the Biggie and the Tupac, right? Those are the people that kind of started it off. And if you believe that Diddy had anything to do with the untimely death of Biggie Smalls, which was what Diddy's second artist, I believe, for Bad Boy. It's really, really, really sinister, in my opinion, to then make a whole song that went number 1. I don't even know for how many weeks. That song "Missing You," and dance on the stage. I don't remember what stage he danced on, if it was the Grammys or if it was BET, wherever he was. Many eyeballs were on him. And I remember thinking, oh my God, his best friend got shot and is no longer here as a, this senseless violence for, supposed beef from the hip hop. It's just, I thought this is so unnecessary and stupid. You know what I mean? And then I thought to myself, this is sad. He had made a whole song about who he called his best friend's death, and when you think about it, I don't know how old the people are that are watching this video or who will watch this video, but Biggie was 24 years old. 24 years old when he was unalived. The man, and when you go back and you really kind of do the research on why most of us believe, I would just say a lot of people who've done research on it believe that Diddy orchestrated the whole thing. When you go back and you see how he was supposed to be, Biggie was supposed to be somewhere in, I think, London or the United Kingdom, somewhere over there, doing some other better business, and how basically Diddy convinced him, no, you need to be in Cali, even though they having some sort of West Coast, East Coast beef, even though a guy who was allegedly a friend of his for at least a while, Tupac, was unalived the year prior. You're gonna go to the city where the man is from, and you're gonna have this. And the worst part about that situation to me, outside of, like I say, the sinister, that you're gonna go make a song about how you miss him. Biggie couldn't even walk. Something had happened to his legs or something to that effect. So if you think about it, this is, again, makes it even more sinister. He's not able to get away. And Sean P. Diddy, Puff Shitty Diddy Combs knew that. He knew that there wouldn't be a way. He was literally a sitting duck. He knew it. And he told the security at the time the security Gene Deal was like, allegedly, this is all alleged. It was like, I'm gonna ride on the side of Biggie, meaning I'm gonna ride a car in between the cars so nobody could get on him. Like if we allegedly there is a threat to this man's life, to their lives, I'm gonna be right here. I'm gonna take one for the team. That's what allegedly Gene Deal was saying, allegedly at the time. And Tupac, I mean not Tupac, Lord rest his soul in peace. Diddy basically told Gene Deal, if you don't basically do what I say, you ain't never gonna work for Bad Boy again in your life. Why would you, if you know that your boy is immobile for the most part, he can't get away. You know there's people out here that don't want y'all to live past tonight. They've already told y'all this. You in they city after hours. Why would you still bring him to this location? It doesn't make any sense. It seems like a setup. I don't know. I wasn't there. And like I said, everything on Chanel's reality is alleged, but seems like a setup to me. So it's bizarre. And like I said, it's sinister then after this man passes away. If, what has been said about P. Diddy is true in terms of him knowing this was going to happen and him basically setting it into motion, allegedly, then you go and make a song about it, make millions off of your bestie's death, and then you have his wife, his baby mama, sing on the song. How sinister is that? Child, listen. It's almost, and it's like, it's so sinister. You almost are like, I can't believe this. This is what someone would actually do. It's a one thing, and don't get me wrong, because I don't hang around killers. I don't hang around people like that. I don't hang around those type of people. But on some level, any of us could be in a situation where we may cause the death of someone else. You put in a situation where it's me or you, I'm going to choose me. I would never want to be in that situation, but I know it is what it is, right? That's one thing. But it's also another thing to say, you know what? We don't like this dude. We want to take him out. That's also like I said, I don't hang around those type of people. But on some degree, okay, I'm not saying I agree with this, but I understand how people work. People are who they are. They're very predictable, right? So I can understand someone thinking, oh, this person did me wrong, and so now I'm going to off him. I don't understand why, because I could never do that, but I understand the psyche of people. Like I said, they're very predictable. So on some level, you could say, well, someone did something to that person. That's what caused this other action or response, which could be someone no longer being alive as a get back, so to speak. But how do you explain this guy is on your record deal? You went and found him. You went and plucked him out of New York. You went and found him. You made him into this superstar. Because rappers are not supposed to be overweight guys who weren't very attractive. That's just not what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be more like Tupac. Cerebral, handsome, sexy guys. And Biggie was not that. And Biggie knew, no shade. I'm just saying. So you go and you make the person who's the most unlikely person to be a superstar, international superstar, still banging his music today. You go befriend him. Where he coming out telling people, yeah, that's Puff is my man, my bestie, right? And then you set up a plot to get him unalived. And then you make a song, making it seem as though this is such a tragedy for you. Like, it's so sinister. You get his girlfriend / baby mama / whatever, lover, to sing the hook for it. You dance across the stage. That is beyond evil. I don't know how you do that. Like, the guy, my thing is, like I said, I understand human beings. They're very predictable. So they could have evil, whatever, within them. But usually there is something to lead to that. Something someone said to you, you felt a way about whatever. Someone did something to you, you didn't get this, that, you felt disrespect, whatever it is. People's reasons are for unaliving other people or really caring less about that person's physical safety, right? People make all kinds of, I feel like, stupid, irrational decisions that lead to someone else's untimely death all the time. But again, there is usually something that sets that into motion. Like I said, someone feels mistreated or, disrespected, whatever it is, right? What is Puffy's reason? That's what boggles my mind. Why go and, friend this man, bring him into this life, put him up on this pedestal, deliver him to the world, as this lyrical genius that people were not ever expecting, but who love, and then have him off? What in the world are you thinking? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And all he's done since then is progress. That's bananas to me. That man has done nothing but progress, progress, and progress. It's what in the world? Like, I don't get it. And then how does it go on and on and on? This is the thing, like, this is why it's hard for me to, not saying that I can't believe the things that are said about him. I 100% believe those things. But what's so mind boggling, even though I told y'all, I understand people are very, predictable. It's predictable how people will behave in whatever circumstances. It just is what it is. It's not that difficult, right? Because people have been behaving as savages for thousands of years. Just just go do any measure of research, you'll see it, right? How do you think up and keep quiet this many just weird circumstances where people have just, they know this guy Diddy, and then they're no longer alive at some point by some unusual situation that they die? How does that happen? How do you have a whole sex trafficking ring? How are you raping boys and girls and women and beating them, within an inch of their life, in hallways, in public, all of these things? How does a whole world, a whole industry keep this quiet for 30 plus years? Like, I'm sure people obviously knew, right? People that were in the know. But it's such a savage, egregious thing to be going on. How do you keep something like that quiet for listen, 30 plus years? How does that happen? This one man is just literally causing havoc across the whole entire industry. Not just the hip hop industry, but just how many supposed A-list people, what they call. I'm like, who decided that these people are A-list? But whatever. It's your bank account, just like we decide success. Don't get me started. But anyways, these people who are supposed to be prominent and supposed to, how do y'all sit in silence? Because I've been saying for a while now, how is all of the whole industry of entertainment silent? Everybody push the mute button. Everybody. Except for 50 Cent and the other idiot. I'm not saying 50 is an idiot because he clearly had been talking about P. Diddy for a minute, but people like Ray J and people like DJ Envy, clear idiots, coming to this man's defense for no reason, no good reason whatsoever, especially when you all are neck deep in your own debauchery. But anyways, like, how does no one say anything? It's one thing for people to be silent now, but how do you keep this type of open secret for 30 years? How? The only thing that I can come up with is he had everybody on videotape. But everybody on videotape was doing something that they're, ashamed of. Everybody. And nobody was willing to jump out the window and say, yo, I don't care about I got enough money. I got enough stardom. I got enough whatever it is to, I could fight that and say, you know what? I'm going to stand out loud. This man has me on tape doing drugs, doing whatever, but I was under the influence. I had no idea what was going on. But I know that he's tried to use this to keep me quiet. That's the part that I can't understand. Nobody has guts. Nobody has said nothing to anyone. That's the thing. And if you have said something to someone about it, yeah, I heard like he didn't do this to me, but I've heard. How does that remain silent? How? Like I could understand how you can shame people. Like I get that part of it. It's a really good reason for why most victims stay silent for 20 years or 30 years. But it's just difficult for me to understand how you keep this type of egregious secret about one person. Obviously, he had more people, keeping his secret, but I'm saying, and more people that were a part of this grotesque, you know, debauchery system that he had going, right? But how does all of those people, nobody has anything to say? Not only not about Diddy, but none of his people. How? How does I find it hard to believe. So y'all are the Kardashians, and I'm not shading them, but I'm just saying, how is it none of y'all saw anything? It's bizarre to me. But we do know that they all were trying to come up. So yeah, maybe being a part of that was something they felt like was something they wanted to do. I don't understand how you keep that many people quiet for that long. I would love to know, because I can't see a situation where I would have been able to do that. But let's take a listen.
Already had earned a platinum album. Biggie was a crack dealer, notorious B.I.G. He never wanted the world to know, with the goal of determining one thing: did he do it or not? It's first very important to understand Diddy's potential involvement in the murders of Tupac and Biggie, because if you believe those allegations to be true, everything that happens afterwards makes total sense. In the mid-90s, Diddy, also known as Sean Puffy Combs, was in the middle of the infamous East Coast vs. West Coast hip-hop rivalry. It all began with East Coast rapper and Bad Boy Records signee, the Notorious B.I.G., versus his enemy, West Coast rapper and Death Row Records signee, Tupac Shakur. And it ended with both of them being assassinated via drive-by shootings. Biggie's murder remains unsolved to this day, but in 2023 we learned that Keefe D was the shot caller for the group of individuals that killed Tupac. Although we do not know the specific details as to why these two rap legends were killed, through all the theories, key information, and first-hand recollections from friends and witnesses of both murders indicate that Sean Combs had involvement in both murders. Biggie and Tupac were friendly and actually respected each other at first. Tupac had begun rapping in 1991 and within 2 years already had earned a platinum album. Biggie was a crack dealer who recorded freestyles for fun, until someone sent his tapes to Puffy, who signed him to Bad Boy Records for $25,000. Puffy was also able to use his status in the music industry to connect Big and Pac. Pac became a mentor to Biggie. He once even asked him to be his manager.
I was there, nigga. I trained the nigga. He used to be under me like my lieutenant. The nigga, I used to come to New York. I used to do shows and let the nigga come on before I did keep your head up and get around. Because nobody knew the nigga in New York. And I used to tell the nigga, yo, if you want to make your money, you got to rap for the bitches. Do not rap for the niggas. I told the nigga, don't rap for the niggas. Rap for the bitches. The bitches will buy your records and the niggas want what the bitches want. So all of a sudden, he changed from being listen to party and bullshit. Listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa.
Pac believes that Biggie used him as a blueprint, changed his whole style, persona, and music to be more aligned with Tupac. Many people speculated that Diddy also had a slight obsession with Tupac. He started dripping himself in Versace after Tupac did it first. He also got romantically involved in women after Tupac had ran through them first, like Sarah Chapman, who ran around with Tupac in the 90s and is now the mother of one of Diddy's children. Pac's claims aged like fine wine when recently the internet figured out that Biggie's most successful hit, Juicy, was actually stolen by a Mississippi-based artist called Notorious B.I., who released a song called Big Daddy a year before Juicy that sounds exactly the same. Is it a coincidence that Notorious B.I. and Notorious B.I.G. are very similar, and this song is called Big Daddy, and Biggie started going by Big Papa? But many people believe this was the mastermind of Diddy, as he was a music industry expert who knew how to scout talent and assess a hit song before anyone else heard it. They believe Puffy instructed his artist to steal from Notorious B.I., and Biggie trusted his boss and mentor. Pac and Big's rivalry began as a music-based competition. Who had more music sales? Who had the better fashion, media representation, and cultural influence? But due to gangster rap creeping into the mainstream and the two being surrounded by legitimate gangsters, tensions escalated to life-threatening conflict. In November 1994, Tupac was on his way to record some music at Quad Studios in New York City. Coincidentally, Biggie was there recording with Junior Mafia, which was a group of 4 friends that Big knew since their childhood. Puffy was there too, since Big was his artist, and anything that Big writes or records is technically owned by the Bad Boy label. Allegedly, a man by the name of Jimmy Henchman, who is now serving life in prison, was planning a robbery on Tupac since Pac owed him some money. Many speculate that Jimmy told Puffy what was about to happen, but Puffy did not try to stop it. When Pac was outside the studio, he looked up and realized rapper Lil Cease, who is best friends with Biggie, was yelling at him from above. He was excited to see him because they were friends. He told him he was going to go downstairs and meet him in the lobby. Pac got to the lobby downstairs when some men attempted to rob him at gunpoint, which quickly led to conflict and Pac being shot 5 times.
In the middle of that trial, Shakur was gunned down, shot 5 times in what he claimed was a murder attempt and police called a robbery.
As the police did their investigation, you can see Diddy looking around scanning the area with his head down. Keep in mind that after Tupac was shot, he got in the elevator and went upstairs where dozens of Bad Boy affiliates were located. Pac was interviewed by Vibe magazine detailing the night he was shot and the energy of the people around him while he was bleeding out. Because Andre Harrell was there, Puffy was there, Biggie, nobody approached me. I noticed that nobody would look at me.
Pro football has gone international, and the world's most fun and lively city should be next. Dublin, Ireland.
Why?
The games are over 3
Andre Harrell wouldn't look at me. I had been going to dinner with him the last few days. Puffy was standing back too. I knew Puffy. He knew how much stuff I had done for Biggie before he came out. Based on Tupac's words here, fans in the media believe that he was hinting that Biggie and Puffy might be behind the attack, which bothered Big and Puff since publicly at this point they were still friends.
Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? And the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm saying? And that's crazy. It's just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? But I also understand that if you was to get shot 5 times, mine is just completely spinning, you know what I'm saying? You're real confused about your situation. So it'll cause you to say things that you really don't mean.
To make things worse, a few months later, Pac was found guilty of sexual assault and would end up serving 9 months in prison. This gave him tons of time to think and reevaluate his life. To add insult to injury, Biggie released his iconic cutthroat track called Who Shot Ya, which felt like an obvious diss towards Tupac. But technically, it was recorded before Pac got shot, but it was marketed and released months after the incident. Regardless, the media developed the narrative that Big and Puffy set up the shooting and now released a diss record bragging about their hit. And Puff's full intentions were to stir up drama, as can be confirmed by the former president of Bad Boy Records.
Biggie might not have thought that when he wrote the lyrics that was going to be used for that, but the way it was marketed by the company and released in the succession of things that were going on that we were dealing with on all the levels that we were dealing, that record did what it was supposed to do. And that's a perfect example of how my former business partner works and thinks.
Pac was sitting in jail already thinking that they set him up, and the release of this song was all the proof he needed. But this wasn't the only shooting that Puffy was involved in. It's also important to know that Tupac signed to Death Row Records while in prison after the label owner Suge Knight promised to use his money to get Pac released. As they were in the process of getting Pac out, Suge Knight and his best friend Jake Robles, aka Big Jake, were at the Platinum nightclub in Atlanta. Suge confronted Puffy at the club and was choking him. Puffy's bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones, steps in to defend him, and then things got out of hand. Next thing you know, shots are being fired and Suge's friend Big Jake was shot and killed. Whether or not Wolf shot Jake has never been confirmed, but Suge was holding Puffy responsible for the attack, which was enough to now ignite a feud between the two executives. Quick sidebar, recently fans have noticed that Puffy's firstborn biological son Justin Combs looks a lot like Wolf. How does your son look more like your best friend than you? Anyways, in October 1995, Tupac got out of prison and he wanted war.
I have no fear. I have only ambition, and I want mine. And I will do anything to protect and feed my family. And these niggas represent a threat.
Pac got out and immediately started taunting and scheming on Bad Boy Records as much as possible. In the days after his release from prison, he jumped into the studio to record his next album, All Eyes on Me, and he talked about the anticipated tracks.
Two of America's Most Wanted with me and Snoop. That's gonna be a humdinger, right? Shorty wanna be a thug. That's gonna be a big one. And Wonder Why They Call You Bitch with Faith. That's gonna be a big one.
He mentions Faith, aka Faith Evans, who was married to Biggie for over a year at this point. Imagine your wife jumps in the studio with your biggest enemy 1 week after he gets out of jail. Pac was also seen with Faith Evans at Whitney Houston's album release party. The rumor is that Biggie cheated on Faith and that she was trying to get back at him by cheating with Pac. Pac also allegedly started messing around with Mary J. Blige, who was a close friend and business partner with Puffy. Then Death Row Records held a Christmas party in 1995 where a close friend of Puffy, Mark Anthony Bell, was mercilessly beaten and forced to drink urine after refusing to give Suge Puffy's mother's address. Tupac and Death Row did not let off the gas. At the 1996 Soul Train Awards, Biggie won the award for Song of the Year, and Tupac won Best Rap Album of the Year. After Big got his award, he took some pictures backstage and then exited the venue because he had to go to the airport to catch a flight. And that's when Pac and Suge pulled up in a Hummer, taunting them.
While we was waiting for the car to pull up, Suge and Tupac pulled up in the Hummer, and Tupac was really loud, yelling West Side, cursing, yelling a bunch of stuff, and Suge came from the other side and was like trying to actually walk up to us saying he just want to talk to Big, want to talk, but of course everybody got in front. It's a little yelling and arguing for a minute, but police and everybody got in front, kind of stopped everything.
Despite Biggie's gangster lyrics, he was really a chill dude who didn't want to beef with Pac. Remember, he looked up to him. He always thought they were friends, but as we are speculating, he seemed to be a pawn in a much bigger operation.
He knows you sent somebody to shoot him that first time. Is that true or false?
Why? No, it's false. Why would I do that?
Okay. Do you think he was just hyping a record, or you have no idea?
I don't know what was the problem. I wasn't inside his head at the time. I don't really know what's the reason for the doing what he did.
Tupac was a man on fire, a man who he believes was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit, was constantly being slandered by the media, and now feels was being disrespected by his biggest enemies, on top of being surrounded by real gangsters. He released a music video alongside Snoop Dogg called Two of America's Most Wanted, which featured a skit mocking Biggie and Puff.
Pop, please don't kill me. It was Buff's idea. No, man. I'm just a rapper, man. Please don't take me out the game.
Interesting that Tupac himself instructed the Biggie actor in the 90s to say it was Puff's idea, as if he knew the truth. Then Pac released one of the most abrasive and iconic diss tracks of all time, Hit 'Em Up. He starts off the song claiming he had sex with Biggie's wife and then directly calls Biggie, Puffy, and Junior Mafia all bitches, along with various other threats. The pressure was on Bad Boy. Pac was not going to stop, and Puffy couldn't take the heat. Biggie's bodyguard, Gene Deal, recalls when Puff reached his tipping point.
He said, I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a f if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change.
Gene was taken back. He wondered if Puff realized that he just said he didn't care if his own artist died. At the same time, he still wanted to play gangster games. As we all know, these gangster games only lead to two outcomes: death or jail, and Tupac would meet his fate on September 13th, 1996. Pac and the Death Row Squad were attending the Bruce Seldon vs. Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas. Hyped up from the testosterone and the energy of the fight, Pac wanted some action. A Death Row associate pointed out Orlando Anderson to Pac, who was a Southside Crip gang member, a rival to the Piru blood set that was affiliated with Death Row Records. Pac went up to Orlando and punched him in the face. Then Death Row associates put a beating on the man. Later that night, Suge and Tupac were driving down East Flamingo Road to Club 662, when suddenly a white Cadillac pulled up beside them at a red light and opened fire on Tupac. He was hit 4 times, with the fatal shot piercing his lung. Just last year, Las Vegas police arrested a man called Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who was a shot caller for the group of individuals that committed this crime, and he orchestrated the plan that was carried out. Ironically, Keefe D. has been confessing his involvement publicly on the internet for years. In 2008, he confessed that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, the man that Tupac punched earlier that night, was the one who actually pulled the trigger.
Keefe D. has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997.
Let's just say, listen, I just don't know that I believe these pretend gangsters. I don't know if I believe. Like, who sits in jail, I guess, unless you want to maybe possibly not be harassed in jail, saying I'm the one who, caused the untimely death of this guy. It's like, I don't know who does that. I feel like people who, this sounds crazy, but I just feel like people who don't feel that great about themselves, they have low self-esteem. So I got to make myself seem bigger by saying that, I did something that I really probably didn't do. Anyway, let's move on.
You will form 2 teams. The OGs, tattooing for more than a decade, versus
his murder. 2 months after he died, they released The Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory, which Shakur recorded under the name Machiavelli. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 200 with first week sales of 664,000.
Let me know down in the chat if you guys believe in the Illuminati and all of that. I don't believe in that. But listen, I don't believe in it for a million different reasons. However, what I will say is the fact that P. Diddy and his reign of terror has been going on for 30 years, and I never knew anything about it, not one thing, never heard anything ever. I have to say that raises my eyebrows of like the things that could be possible that I never, gave any type of validity to, simply because it just seems like, okay, so we got this organization that's pulling the strings of all these people. I still can't say that's true, but I do say, I can't say it couldn't be anymore. I can't say it could or couldn't be, only because how does this idiot get to terrorize people for this long without, he ain't sat in jail yet. Well, I take that back. He's now in jail. I take that back. He's not in jail. He's now in jail. So he has now, but how do you get away with that type of stuff 30-something years? So at this stage, I'm kind of like, maybe there is something else, something more. It just seems like it couldn't be true. It just seems like so far-fetched. But then you have all of the things that this man is being accused of. How do you then continue to say, no? I'm still a person who believes no, but I'm also a person that has to kind of be proven. Unless there's enough evidence that I kind of can be like, I don't really need the proof. But the reason I can't say it's impossible is because of how many people and how many people have been impacted by Diddy and his, what I call criminal ring, or I guess Southern District of New York is calling criminal enterprise, with so many victims. If that can happen, and I never know anything about it until everyone knows something about it, then I can't say that the Illuminati or whoever is not real. But I can't say it is either, because I don't know nobody. So I can't say it is either, but it's just, it's like, how is that possible? You know, but I also sit in awe of how is all of the things that Diddy has done or been alleged to have done possible? How is this man able to have seemingly videoed everybody? And the reason I say everybody is because even Oprah, unless maybe she's doing something over there on the own network that I don't have, I'm not, privy to, but even Oprah, it would seem that Oprah, Diane Sawyer, somebody would have done a special. Someone with credibility that isn't TMZ, because to me, they don't have no credibility. TMZ can be bought all day and all night, which, if we're being clear, most media can't be bought. I think they all have a price. But how do you have the people that are supposed to be credible, like Diane Sawyer and Oprah and others, they just have nothing to say? I don't know why Oprah isn't doing a sit down with Cassie, with all of the people. I could say, I guess maybe with Cassie, maybe there's some sort of gag order and like terms and conditions of her settlement. Maybe that's why. But all the others, I don't understand how that's not happening. How that hasn't happened. How is 50 Cent the leader? How? How is Jaguar Wright and 50 Cent the leaders? Two people who at best are shady. Okay. I don't know these people. I wasn't there. But both of those people are shady. A little bit of credibility issues. However, how are they the people at the forefront? How is TMZ the people interviewing Beyonce and Jay-Z's lawyer? Why would their lawyer go to the least credible? You're going to entertainment news to talk about something that supposedly has zero credibility, and your clients, Beyonce and Jay-Z, are these good people, and these are the people you choose to talk to as their attorney to say that your clients are good people? What sense does that make? I know I'm an educated person. I am educated. I do have a couple of college degrees, just saying, I do. But I don't understand how that makes any sense whatsoever. I don't claim to have any knowledge of any type of, ins and outs of the music industry or the entertainment industry. I have no expertise. But I'd be willing to go out on a limb and say that makes absolutely no sense. You're giving the least amount. You're actually removing whatever little credibility you, Beyonce, and her husband even had with the Piers Morgan interview. Now that you're on here talking about, we need to say that this is demonstrably false to the guys at TMZ. It's like they're not even credible news. What are you talking about? Just because they have a microphone and they have a station that makes it seem like everything that they say regarding celebrities is factual. It's not. It's hearsay. It's fake sources. It has no journalistic integrity whatsoever. But people think it's news. And so Beyonce and Jay-Z, this is how you know this doesn't make any sense. It just, oh my God. If I didn't want to believe, if I was on the cusp of saying, I don't really think I believe Jaguar Wright. Let's just say that was the case. And I don't believe everything Jaguar Wright says, because I don't know that lady, right? But some of the stuff she says does make sense, especially now that the diddler is sitting in jail, right? Some of it makes sense. Some of it is very, very believable. But she makes inflammatory statements and you send your attorney to TMZ to make a statement? What? What? I'm just like, are y'all kidding me right now? Who is advising y'all? Like, I cannot fire them immediately. Whoever your PR, whoever these people are, they need to be fired immediately. All it did was make whatever Beyonce and Jay-Z supposedly want to hide or whatever it is that they supposedly did or allegedly did, it made it gave it credence. Because you're trying to sue, or you're threatening to sue Pierce and not the person who said it. And I know why they threatened to sue Pierce. It was because we want the people who actually have the power at the station, not their guests. They don't matter to us. But the people who have the power and who have subsidiaries of subsidiaries and parent companies of parent companies, we want those people to understand we not playing. We don't give a shit about Jaguar, right? But we want everybody else to know. Think twice before y'all let this lady come on your show and say anything about us. That's what that was. But it's laughable now because it's like, how in the world are you still friends with this guy? How have y'all said not one thing, but y'all have said, you haven't said how disgusted these charges are that he's been charged. You haven't said how disgusting it was to watch him beat Cassie in the hallway of a hotel room. I'm sorry, of a hotel hallway. Y'all had nothing to say about that. Nothing. But because she comes on Jaguar Wright, who y'all say is a conspiracy theorist who's crazy, now y'all have something to say? How? And like I said, I don't know none of these people, so I wasn't there. So I don't know if any of it is true. But I'm just saying it seems odd that Oprah and Diane Sawyer or other credible people, who I would say are credible people, has not said one word. How? How is one of the biggest newsworthy scandals in our entertainment history, day in and day out, reporting of multiple levels of human trafficking, sex trafficking, and violence against women, men, children, whatever? How is this enterprise? How is this man that all of y'all know by some degree of separation? How are y'all not having a conversation with anybody? I don't know how that works, but that don't make sense. Does it make sense to y'all? Because it don't make sense to me. How does that happen? How are y'all not even having conversations with the people that are supposedly so close? How is there not some sort of documentary being made right now outside of the one that everybody is waiting for? Did he do it? I think by 50 Cent. How is there not some sort of movie, something? This is ratings gold. 24/7 people are talking about this man. And none of y'all are willing to make any type of money off it. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not a media mogul. I don't know anything about none of that. Like I said, I'm intelligent. I got a few college degrees, but I know I'm not a media mogul. I don't know anything about none of that. But I can tell you when some shit don't make sense, and this doesn't make any sense at all. How are y'all not making money off of this 24/7? How? I know some people say, oh, well, there's an election going on. No one gives a shit about the election. If I'm being honest, nobody does. There's two sides there's three sides. There's the side of people who don't want to have anything to do with politics. Usually those people are like libertarians. They don't believe in government whatsoever. They think everybody should be able to do their own thing, which would lead to complete and utter chaos. So they don't believe in any of it. Then you have the people who love Donald Trump no matter what. He could do nothing wrong, no matter what he does. Even if he does it in front of their face to their children, they don't care. They're not going to ever vote for a woman or a black lady or anyone claiming to be that. They're just not going to do it. Anyone that's going against Donald Trump, they are automatically not going to give them people a chance. And then you have the people who are stone cold against everything Donald Trump does, represents. That would be me. Never would want this man to be president. I just don't have the energy for it right now. So I can't even be a part of it. But people, I'm still going to vote, but people are definitely in that little vortex But I don't think that even that has the legs that this Diddy case has. It doesn't. And that's why it makes no sense to me. The Beyonce and the Jay-Z's and all of the people who have all of these reaching fingers to reach into every little orifice of the media that puts out information about celebrities and celebrity scandals, how they're not covering it, how they're not sitting down talking to people who are close to Diddy, like J-Lo or others, whomever, Jay-Z, like I said, Beyonce, whomever these people that are all these photos over the years with these, like, why aren't the Kardashians somewhere saying, oh my God, we never knew? Why, where's Kanye? Didn't Kanye sing his song? I want to be able to walk up to Diddy and he'll really know me. Didn't he say that in one of his first songs? I don't know if she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broken, right? Where's Kanye? I ain't heard Kanye say nothing. Have y'all? He threw Beyonce and Jay-Z under the bus a few years ago. What he say? It ain't. What he say? You see, ain't nobody I won't name. Ain't no names I won't name. That's what Kanye said. But he also said he asked Kim Kardashian to, he almost aborted poor Northwest. I knew something was wrong with Kim, and I used to love the Kardashians. Not that I hate them now or nothing like that. I ain't got no beef with them people, but when they named their daughter Northwest, I was like, something is really wrong. This is what I thought about Kim at that point, because I wasn't mad at Kim trying to come up, whatever her reasons were, whatever her, ways to get there. I am mad at the lady. She over here trying to make a buck, and most people over here that's dissing that lady would try to do the same things 3 times as hard if they could be who she is. So they need to stop. But I was just like, something ain't right with sis. She over here naming her whole child North. She drinking the Kool-Aid, like legit. But I wasn't even thinking about drinking the Kool-Aid. I was thinking more like she really, really, really wants this fame thing. And she was already famous. One of the most famous people on the planet. So it's just odd to me that you still willing to do anything to be associated with one of the most famous men, I guess you would say at the time, or even now. So, that's what you really felt like would get you there. And the sad part is it didn't do anything but get you 4 children that they gonna all grow up confused. Because everybody's gonna tell them that their mom's a slut. She's a slut hoe. Their family sold their souls for, fame or whatever. And their daddy is crazy. And likes a militant racist called Donald Trump. But also, too, according to some of the lawsuits between Donald Trump, and their dad, it's a whole lot of lawsuits about sex offenders. Just saying, that's what people have accused them of. And this is who your dad's mentor is, Donald Trump. Make it make sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. I'm just saying, some stuff just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, back to Diddy. I don't know how he's not under the jail. And then I heard something today saying that he was on a phone call with his son. And like one of the things in that phone call that was very interesting that I heard him say, he's like, I don't have nothing, or I'm not worth anything, or something like that. When I heard him say that, I was like, yo. Let me see if I can find it. Diddy's phone call from jail. Let's see if I can play it.
I'm a Byberg business insurance expert obsessed with protecting your small business from everyday risk.
Oh, please.
But in a cool way.
Diddy's prison phone call just leaked and it was posted by Social Details.
Let's see.
This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code. Now, if you know your stuff and I don't know what.
Are you gonna let us listen to it?
And then he goes on to say, don't forget about the list. And we don't know what that list is, or
That's fine. I want somebody to let me listen to the whole phone call. Hold on.
Before we even hop into this video,
Damn. Jay-Z?
So I did think that was interesting when P. Diddy asked his son, did Jay reach out yet? Now P. Diddy didn't say Jay-Z, but he did say Jay. And I mean, it's not that far-fetched for people to think, okay, he's talking about Jay-Z, since Jay-Z has been, him and Beyonce have been like radio silent. Anyway, let's keep listening.
Damn. Jay-Z?
Someone just wrote in the comments, this is fake. Laugh out loud. It could be. It could be fake, but it just doesn't sound fake. So let's keep listening.
What is he talking about? Netflix release?
Yeah. We all let him have a little fun, but still going to have a
He's basically saying, we're going to have the last lap. We're going to start dropping names.
So that's what he
We're
just
going to
said.
start dropping names. We're going to start dropping footage. I don't even know what that meant.
So he said, allegedly, the son said, what about all these lawsuits though? And so then P. Diddy allegedly says, I ain't worth nothing, so I ain't none of them gonna get nothing. So basically, all of these people he's saying essentially that are coming at him and saying, hold on. I'm about to sneeze. He's saying, I don't have nothing. And so they ain't gonna get nothing. But this is the thing. If you notice, like even in Cassie's lawsuit, this is from a person that doesn't know anything about law in that way. I was surprised when I was reading through Cassie's lawsuit that she didn't just sue Diddy. She sued everything that's connected to that man. So I always felt from the beginning, the reason that got settled that quickly is because the everyone else that is associated with him, all of the subsidiaries said, we don't want this on us. Plus, they probably knew there was proof. I'm certain those people or those entities knew there was proof. And it's like, just pay her so she can go away. And I'm sure they probably knew something about the federal government being on the heels of something. So they're like, listen, pay that lady so we can go on about our business and we don't need to be associated with that. So I think what Diddy's saying, if this is in fact, real phone call from jail, I think what Diddy is saying is, I don't have anything. Him saying that is basically like, so they won't get anything. Again, makes no sense. But I think in his little P brain it does, because it's like, oh, I put everything in my mom's name. Kind of like what Mace had said. Mace said that. He was just like, yeah, ninja, you got everything in your mama's name. He did say that. So, I mean, that's what people who think that are doing things that they probably shouldn't be doing, that's how they think. And I know, I personally feel P. Diddy's been doing this kind of sinister thing since as long as he can remember, right? So, of course, he put everything in his mom's name, because as much as he's felt like, oh, I'm getting away with everything, like he said in that video, he was like, I could teach y'all, how we can, have fun and stay out of jail. He said that. Why would you say something like that? Unless you already know you've done some sinister things and somehow you managed to stay out of jail. He said that. So I think he knew, one, I don't have anything because everything that I have is in my mom's name or in my kid's name or in somebody else's name, and they ain't gonna be able to touch it. But if you can't come up with a real reason why you would be putting everything you own in your mom's name, I don't know that the mom's gonna be able to keep all of that stuff. But I'm not alert. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. Maybe she will. But I also think he thinks, well, it doesn't matter, because I don't have anything. I think he thinks that way too, because he thinks that these people won't get anything, but they will, because they're going to get it from everybody else that's associated with him. All of those people that dropped him and all those people that were around and they overlooked and covered up, meaning, and I'm not talking about people per se, one person, I'm saying entities that are associated with him and giving him money over the years, knowing this man was up to no good and still covering it up and still giving him money, knowing that this man was doing the most and engaging in criminal activity. The Southern District of New York, the federal government, whoever the people are who came after him, they didn't get that out of the air. They didn't get the warrants out of the air. They didn't get a warrant for his arrest out of the air. They had to work and have evidence and prove something. And the entities that are associated with him or were associated with him at the time, that's where these people are going to get that money from. But I think his mom probably going to go down too. But I found it interesting too. His son starts saying, but his other brother, he chimes in and he says something like, he wants to know about how he going to pay for his Benz, or I think he has a Bentley or something, Rolls Royce, some really expensive car. And it's just such a, I wouldn't even say a rich kid thing to say, but it's just such a young adult, a privilege thing to say. It'd be like, so dad's in jail. I need to know how I'm gonna pay for my Bentley. So your daddy in jail and probably never getting out, and you want to know how you're gonna pay for your Bentley? Knock it off. But we supposed to be believing that their children are so devastated. No. If you're so devastated, this is what they throwing at us at the public because we so supposed to be so stupid. Yeah, the kids are so distraught and they're going through so much. And I'm not saying that that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that it hasn't happened. What I'm saying is the people that are putting it out there like this are full of shit. Because I don't think those kids are the ones saying let's fall on our sword and dad, we're so stressed out, because they're not. That's not what's happening. The kid just told you what was happening. They didn't get on this phone, if this is a real phone call, and say, oh my God, we're so stressed out because you're away and we don't know what's happening to you in prison. And are you getting, are you eating? Are you okay? Like what's your mental state? Like you've been addicted to these drugs all this time, whatever. They didn't talk about his fears on the phone call. They talked about things that seemingly were in code about other things that are probably still going on. That's what they talked about. They didn't talk about how devastated they were that their dad is in prison and their mom is unfortunately not alive, or some of the kids' mom. That's not what they asked about. They asked about Bentleys and about Justin, or one of them. I don't know if it was Justin, but basically him putting out a rap and putting out a single. It's hot right now. This is when we should be pouncing. It's like your daddy's in jail and you talking on the phone with him about putting out an album or putting out a song. And we're supposed to believe, and your brother's car payment, but we're supposed to believe that y'all so concerned and so distraught about your dad being in prison and y'all not having, another parent around. It's like, knock it all the way the fuck off. I'm just deriving this from what they are putting out. This is what these idiots are doing. So it's hard for me to believe that they're so distraught. I ain't saying that they can't be, because people grieve in different ways. People, will, it's like almost as if they don't pay attention to what's going on, then it doesn't exist. But I'm just saying these are the reasons why I never believed that any of those posts, that letter that they put on the internet, the mom's statement, all that. I don't believe none of that. Do I believe that they could feel away at points and times? Absolutely. Do I feel that they could think, it's terrible that their dad is in prison and their mom's not here and things like that? Absolutely. I do think that. You can have both things could be true. But when you on the phone and that's what the conversation is, not how are you doing? How are you holding up? How is your mental health? Are you eating? What's our next strategy to kind of help you deal with it? Like, that's not the conversation that's being told if this conversation is real. It's not the conversation that's being had. Just saying. This is just bizarre. Anyway. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I think I encourage you guys, the link to this YouTuber's Video is in the description. So I encourage you guys to go look at both of their pages and subscribe, because they go way more deep than I'm willing to go into all of the things. I mean, on a YouTube video, anyways, into the bodies that Diddy mysteriously has in common with a whole bunch of people. It's a sad, sad saga, and I don't know where we're gonna go from here. Like, I don't know what his kids are gonna. I don't know. I'm really interested in what will happen, and I'm saddened that the kids seemingly, at least from what we could see, they don't even know. Maybe they don't even get it, and it's because maybe they're so young. They're grown, and from what I can tell on some of the other allegations and lawsuits, the grown boys, not all of them, but a few of them, have very Diddy-like behavior, which wouldn't be far-fetched if you grow up in a home or around a savage. Sometimes people go the completely different direction. Sometimes, if that was already somewhere in them and it's just nurtured, the bad boy, it's inevitable, unfortunately. And I hope that they can be saved, but just based on some of their behavior, it doesn't seem like it. Because it doesn't seem like, if you've not gotten away, if you've been able to get away with this type of egregious behavior for years, and you've seen your dad get away with it for years, you don't have any reason to think you're going to get caught. Because even now, after the people come to your house, the real people, you still over here talking about, hey, you come to the right house. Because you have such a big ego. They gonna get you too. You keep playing with them people. They probably already have enough information to get you. But I think what they're gonna do is, and I could be wrong about this, but I think they're gonna use you to put your daddy in prison. And you don't even realize it. That's what I think is gonna happen. I don't think they're gonna indict them right now. Nope. We're gonna use you. We're gonna get all kinds of information out of you right now. Then we're gonna say, we're gonna put you in prison for the rest of your life, or they're gonna threaten them with whatever it is that they're gonna threaten them with, and they're gonna turn on their daddy. I believe, but we'll see. Anyway, guys, chime down in the comments. Let me know what you think about all the information here on Chanel's reality. What do you think about his body count? What do you think about this phone call that allegedly got leaked from prison? Do y'all believe it? Chime down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about all of the bodies and the untimely deaths and the mysterious deaths of all the people around Diddy. Again, everything on Chanel's reality is all alleged, and it's in my opinion, and it is for entertainment purposes only. Sorry, guys. I don't know. I've been yawning all day. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Chanel's reality. Hit that like button and subscribe button. Talk to you guys later. Bye.